When you've lived in the same town for your whole life, everything starts to seem so ordinary. You've seen the same building a million times, the same restaurants, the same trees. It all becomes very mundane. I've lived in Kirksville, Missouri my whole life. I feel like living in the same place for 21 years, I start to glance over things, take certain things for granted, and just not notice. In this body of work, I challenge my perception of the everyday. I photograph my seemingly unchanging hometown with a twin-lens reflex camera. I choose to photograph my surroundings as they are, silently sitting, waiting for change. This camera challenged me to look at my mundane world in new ways. The viewfinder is on the top of the camera, so I look down while photographing, not seeing directly what's in front of me, but moving and adjusting the camera to make it see what I want it to see. This has given me a substantial amount of negatives to pull from when creating this body of work. In the darkroom, I choose from this collection of negatives, picking out the scenes and compositions that resonate with me. I then alter them by accordion folding photographic paper under the enlarger, enlarging each image onto a 3D surface. This causes the image to distort on the paper, creating distinct angular edges on a once perfectly square photograph, concurrently blurring and altering the content of the images. I choose how to fold each paper by intuitively responding to the content, especially line, within each photograph. By altering these everyday images in such drastic ways, I call attention to the perception of the mundane or familiar, encouraging closer inspection of both the prints as well as the spaces within them. Simultaneously, I question the traditional parameters of the photographic medium, specifically challenging the idea of the frame. Throughout this series, I work in multiple ways to alter perception and challenge the traditional photographic parameters. I distort singular images, bringing attention to their edges and subject matter. I create diptychs bordering on the definition of collage. By enlarging two images onto one piece of paper, distorting each individually as well as creating overlap, I extend these conversations. I contact print altered negatives from my collection as well. These negatives have been scored and folded similarly to each print, then placed on the photographic paper for contact printing under the enlarger. By altering the negative itself, I alter all iterations of it, distorting every print ever made from that negative, changing one of the original pieces of framework in the photographic process. By leaving elements from my process on each silver gelatin print, I remind viewers that these are images altered only through darkroom manipulation. Each dark line left from a scored fold, contact print revealing the brand of film or tape mark which held down the original negative, is a reminder of how the distortion is made, each sparking conversation about my photographic process and the response to the distortion of each image. Each of these images explores experimental distortion of my own surroundings, a challenge to myself to find the excitement within what I've previously dubbed mundane. This body of work is a call to viewers to question their own perception of everyday spaces, as well as the prints within this series.